you. Welcome to another episode of the TTM podcast where I, your host, Salma Lewis, do nothing but talk too much. And today we're on episode 4! Thank you guys so much for watching and coming this far. I say this far, we're 4 episodes, but I still think four episodes is a lot, and they're like 20 minutes long. That's like 80 minutes. That's like 80 minutes. That's banging. Like, what the hell? I always say this for most every single episode. I'm so excited to film. We've had some room updates. 1 room update. Yeah, it's just so cute. My brother got it for me when he went to Comic Con last week. Another heartbreak of my life. I wasn't able to go to Comic Con. It's just too pricey. Could not afford it. I was like, yeah, okay. Just get me a poster, I'll be happy. And he got me a poster, so I was really, really happy. The background has changed because I watched Spider-Man last night, and guys, I didn't love it. Spider-Man, I don't love you anymore. I didn't love it. No, I did love it. I was just saying that. I'm hoping you get the reference if you've watched Spider-Man. If you haven't, I won't spoil it for you. Either way, that movie brought me to tears. It brought me to tears. I cried for like 3 hours after. I cried for the whole movie, and then I cried an extra time on top of it. There was a lot of tears, I'm not gonna lie to you. But the movie in itself, I think, was actually really, really good. I enjoyed the pacing, I enjoyed everything about it. Another thing is I'm coming back. This is like my second day back from my social media break, which I went on break for a week. I was supposed to go until the end, until results day, because I don't want to see the GCSE content. Then I came back because of my friend's birthday, and I had to compost that, which I'm just gonna get annoyed. Either way, I definitely have noticed some differences in me coming back versus like the time I had off. One of the that was supposed to be the whole point of this video. I'm gonna call it my quarter life crisis, because I'm not gonna lie, I was really, really going through it. I was going through it. The week off that I wasn't on anything, I was going through it. However, I did also notice that I don't actually think I'm as addicted as I thought I was. I'm not. I don't even think I'm that addicted. I since have still only read my books. I've been reading constantly. I read 8 books last week. The whole Off Campus series, which if you've not watched Off Campus, go and watch Off Campus on Amazon Prime. I'm doing free promo. Off Campus sponsor me, please. Amazon Prime sponsor me. Either way, that whole series, I've read all of the books, well, almost all of them, and now I'm on to the second generation of books. Love them to a T. Absolute cinema. I know, absolute cinema. I don't care. I love them. Anyways, I'm feeling fantastic to film this episode. It's currently, I don't even know where my iPad is. I was going to show you the time, but my iPad is missing. I think it's 11 or 12. But I wanted to do this video to basically just have a chat, talk about Spider-Man, talk about social media. First topic. Come on. If you haven't watched it, just skip over it for me. That movie, I was going through things. Seeing Aunt May again, obviously, I know it was just a cheeky little thing into his mind. Seeing Aunt May again actually broke something inside of my heart. I was in tears, in shambles. Also, MJ saying she didn't love Peter. Listen, I know you don't remember, but you're just gonna have to think really, really, really hard for me. Just think really, really hard, and just try and find that emotion inside of you. I was broken. Jean Grey, Sadie Sink did an amazing job as Jean Grey. I love the X-Men. I love the whole X-Men universe. I love the whole MCU. Just anything Marvel, DC. I love it. Any of them, I love it. But we've been in the X-Men drought. We've not seen them in a little while, other than when Wolverine was in the Deadpool movie. But that's not really X-Men. We've not seen them in a little while. So the way that they're setting up the new generation of X-Men, it did bring a little tear to my eyes. It did make my heart beat quite a bit. And I just love Sadie Sink. I've loved her since Stranger Things. I loved her in all too well little 10-minute video. I loved it. So that was great. I also think just Peter. Peter, no. Oh my gosh, how lonely he was in this movie. I felt bad. I felt so bad. I also felt like it was... The thing I tend to really, really like about Marvel movies is that there's always some sort of connotation that you can take to adapt to the real life world. Obviously, Stan Lee literally said,
"Hey heroes, this is Stan Lee coming at you. Want you to know, Marvel has always been and always will be a reflection of the world right outside our window."
Like, there's just so many things that I think individually, and I think this is what I love about movies, is that individually there's always some bit of information or like a scene or just anything that's going to touch everybody in their own type of way. And I think it's so nice that everybody can kind of like bond over specific bits of a movie or just a whole franchise completely, because they can just feel so seen like by the screen in front of you. I love movies, I love film, I love everything. Books, love them. Movies, love them. Music, love them, because they're all just things that can bring people together. So I think that movie just touched on so many things that, like, oh no, I have no notes. I mean, I would have loved to see Daredevil in it. I'm not sure how he would have got there, but I really would have preferred to just see him in there. But The Punisher was enough for me. I love The Punisher. I watched the series, it broke my heart, but I just love it. So 10 out of 10, no notes. If you haven't gone to see Spider-Man in the cinema, or you haven't watched it on a legal website like me, you have to go. Go watch it twice, watch it 3 times. I'm tempted to ask for money from my mum to go watch it in 4DX, because the action scenes in there were just too much. I need to feel it. I need to be in there. I need to be in there. So go watch Spider-Man if you haven't. It's kind of making me think on who my favourite Marvel person is now, because Doomsday is coming up.
Doomsday is close at hand. I'll book the marching band to play as you speak.
Doomsday is coming, and I already know some people are going to die. A lot of people are going to get slimed out. My predictions for who are going to get slimed out, this is no like accuracy or anything like that. I haven't dived into it, but this is just my guesses. I think Bucky's going to get slimed. Part of me kind of hopes he does get slimed, not because I didn't love him, but I just feel like it just has to happen. He's going to see Steve, and it's not even going to be, I think Steve Rogers is not going to be the Steve Rogers that we know. I'm hoping we get a Captain Hydra, or just not a good Captain America. I hope he's bad. I need to see him being evil. That's what I think is going to happen. I also think that I want to know how Peter ends up in space again. How he's also going to manage without the spacesuit. Like, I'm really confused about this. So if anybody knows, obviously Tony Stark died. Everybody's forgot who Peter Parker is. So does that, and he's basically starting from scratch. In the movie, it seemed like he was starting from scratch. So does that mean the spacesuits, the little nanotech that Tony Stark made, he doesn't have access to anymore? Because if that's the case, how on earth is this cheeky little suit that he's got managing in space? Because the Spider-Man that I remember we digress. Some people are gonna die. I'm just really, really scared. I'm trying not to get attached to anyone, because I can already feel it in my chest. There will be tears. Anyways, back to different topics. Here is what I noticed in my week without social media. 2, maybe 3 main points. Number 1, comparison. Number 2, connection. And number 3, thoughts. Let's go with number 1, comparison. I noticed that in my whole week away from social media, I had nothing to compare myself to. As weird as that sounds, I genuinely didn't. Obviously, it's not to say that like every single time I'm scrolling or watching a video, I just like look at them and all of a sudden Heather comes on and I'm like, oh, I just wish I was just as good as them, and just so pretty and just so ugly compared to everybody I see. Not in that type of way. It was a comparison in the sense of that, like, when I see people that are my own age just doing way better than me, or like they're way well off, they're on their holidays, and I mean this even with people I know, like they're on their holidays, they're like flying out with their friends, they're doing all sorts of things, or maybe they could be 16 years old, they've been in all sorts of movies, they're making so many achievements for themselves, for their families. It makes me think that like the achievements and like the things that I might be proud of myself for doing aren't worth anything. Like they aren't as good or as kind of important as the people that I'm seeing, or it makes it feel like the life that I have just isn't actually, I'm not enjoying it as much as I think I am. And when there's no more of those videos for you to continuously watch, then it becomes a thing of like, it just isn't on my mind as much. And the less that I think about something, the less the kind of like belief and like, you know, kind of grace I have towards it, if that makes sense. And so it just became a thing of like, I would actually just genuinely sit there and I'd actually be like, maybe I am alright. Like maybe actually, you know what? It's actually okay. I'm actually doing alright. It's actually fine. Because, and I mean this for everybody, comparison genuinely is a thief of joy. People say it all the time and you don't actually realise it until you just sit there and actually think. Like, it takes a lot of kind of maturity and also a lot of like self-awareness to kind of realise that you can't base your own achievements and your own kind of persona around the reflection you see in other people. It's not going to make sense. It's never going to add up. Like, you, especially with results day coming up, I think I've definitely been in my head about, you know, the grades that I get, and it made me realise that like I'm going to see people who are genuinely going to be crying, rolling around on the floor because they got a 5 and they anyways, there's people who are going to be rolling around on the floor crying because they got a 5 and they were expecting a 7. But then I'm actually going to be happy with a 4. Sue me. But if I see a 4 on that results paper, I won't be jumping for joy and rolling around on the ground. But I will be fine with a 4 because at least it means I've passed. Does that mean my 4 is now worthless because somebody else got a 7 in the same exact subject? No. You should still be able to be proud of yourself and still be able to be happy with and content within the things that you're doing without having to constantly, you know, compare yourself to what everybody else is doing. But not having to watch what everybody else is doing definitely helps with that by miles. The other thing, I think I said connection. I'm hoping I said connection, otherwise I'm just going on a tangent. Yeah, topic 2, connection. Was this 3? 2 or 3. I think, obviously, it is a little bit isolating. And I say this because it's way easier to start up a conversation from just snapping somebody back and forth. You could be snapping pictures of the wall, you could be snapping pictures of your face. It literally will not matter because it's just way easier like that. So I think that like I definitely did struggle a little bit also with maintaining the friendships and the relationships and with the people that I have around me, because reaching out, it's not a hard thing to do, but it feels like such a drag sometimes. Reaching out to people and engage, once I'm in the conversation, I'll be happy, I'll be fine. But then there were some people that I just forgot to give my number to, that I was just sat there and I'm just like, oh, what am I supposed to do? But then I'm also trying to get more content within being by myself, so I have to take it on the chin. Like, it could have been, you know, a lot worse, and it really wasn't. I was keeping myself entertained, but then I also just constantly thought about posting, which I did just confess about loving my spam earlier, but I just constantly thought about posting. I constantly was thinking like, I wonder what so-and-so is doing, I wonder what they have posted. Like, I'm just nosy. I think I am just nosy. I think social media makes everybody nosy. Like, you just want to see what everybody else is doing and you want to go on their post. You don't have to like it. Which is another thing I hate. I hate people who, I have you on my spam or on my main or on my anything and you're just there just to watch. Watch me do what? Like, I don't understand. I find it so annoying when like I accept someone into one of my social media platforms and you just sat there just tapping, just watching. You don't interact. I'm not asking you for a million comments, but you can double tap your screen and keep it moving. And if you don't like the content, why are you here? Why would you want to be in my spam, on my Snapchat, on my anything, if you just don't like what I'm posting? Remove me, please, take me away. Another side note, I have ice cold water because the heat has just been too much. I literally feel like I walk outside, I don't even have to be outside, I could be inside, and it just starts baking up. Everything is red, the air is thick, crawling into my nose. I can't do it. Personification right there. Anyways, I've completely forgot my thing. Yeah, why are you here just watching me for no reason? I also don't get it when people, particularly maybe are not your biggest fan, they just don't like you, and yet you're still constantly watching everything I do just to go talk about me in a group chat. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. I also don't like being spoken about. I get that maybe when I was at a certain point in time, maybe I've done something, I've completely forgotten about it, and it might have stuck with you, and you have your opinions on me, whatever, keep them. But the thing I hate the most is opinions that are like built up off of what other people have said, and yet they don't even give you a chance. I understand, I constantly said it, if you want to reinvent yourself in 5 minutes time, go and reinvent yourself for 5 minutes time. It's not up to you to prove like who you are to people who just don't want to understand it. But on that same type of boat and on that same, you know, type of sea and ocean, I also don't think it's necessarily just for someone to actively like kind of come for you or try and combat you as a person and your character for no apparent reason, unless you really, really know me. As if you knew me at all, if you really knew me, then you'd understand that maybe the decisions that I made at the time or the things that have been going on at the time were for some reason. But I think everyone's just become so accustomed to just like saying things for the sake of saying things, just to not be the only one not saying anything. It's actually okay to not speak about people. It's okay, and it's actually completely normal. I think I hated the most in school. The past 2 years that I've moved to that new school were the worst 2 years I think I've ever had in my whole experience at school. I think they were the worst 2 years ever. Obviously, I wouldn't go back and say, you know, I never should have gone. Maybe in a state of anger I might say that, but realistically, that's just not something I would say. However, I would say that like having to constantly hear people's opinions and like thoughts and feelings on what you're doing constantly, it definitely does come for someone's mind. It definitely does come for someone's like view of how they see themselves. And also it made me so self-conscious as to like how I'm moving, if I'm doing too much, if I'm not doing enough, and also just my appearance in general. And I just don't think that's fair. I understand like it's high school, people do it all the time, like it's just, I guess, character building, great, whatever, but like genuinely, how hard is it to just okay and leave it there? How hard is it to just see something or see someone and just say okay, and that's it? That's actually it. Like, I just don't get why the unnecessary commentary just keeps on coming back. And I don't know if I'm the only person who feels like this or relates to this. If I am, there you go, there's a little dump for you. If I'm not, then I want you to know that I'm like, you're not alone. We're all going through this together, apparently. And I guess, you know, that's something to take comfort in. But no, yeah, definitely not a fan at all. Another thing that I noticed is I was more prone to just being in my thoughts a lot. I am a writer. I'm a writer through and through. I love to write notes, letters, just anything at all. Best and believe I'm writing it down, I'm noting it somewhere. If a thought comes into my head, it could be about anything, it's going on a piece of paper. I used to spam my notes app, and then I don't know who got my phone one time and they looked at my notes and they were like, what the heck is wrong with you? So I was like, okay, let's do physical pieces of paper and hide them in different spots, and then when I go back to those spots one day, I'm just going to find them and be like, oh, okay, look back and laugh type of thing. Unless someone finds the physical copies. I mean, either way, I'm getting found out. But anyways, whatever. I love to write my thoughts down, and I think it's also really, really important that when you're in a state where you're not constantly having kind of like something to scroll and something to constantly look at, it's easy to get lost in your own thoughts all the time. Even with something to scroll and something to look at, it is easier. But I think it low-key made me better because TikTok just makes me sad. TikTok just makes me sad. I think I've spoken about it before. It just makes me sad. Seeing all these videos, they just make me sad. So if I'm already in a state and then I open my phone and that's all I see, it just gets worse for me. So I love to instead just write everything down, even if it means I'm writing someone I liked, someone I currently like. It could be an ex-friendship, an ex-relationship that's ages and ages ago. It doesn't matter to me. As soon as the thought comes, I just write it down. And in writing it down, I found that it just makes me feel like even if I'm not directly speaking to someone, somehow I still have a way of getting things out. And I think people tend to just be like, oh, get a diary, do whatever. That works too. But there still should be some sort of outlet of how you feel your emotions and how you get things out. I'm not saying you have to be like me and just have to cry all the time, or you have to write your whole thoughts and feelings away. But I think like as people, we need socials. Not socials as in media, but like social human interaction. Like we need people, we need some sort of support system. But if you don't feel comfortable enough to actively tell people and actively go to people, or if you don't have a way to do that, then it's very, very easy for you to slip and fall back into finding maybe not so great ways to cope with that type of stuff. And it's more common than you think. Like the most chillest person ever probably might have a way to cope with things that just maybe isn't the most healthy. And obviously on the TTM podcast, did I just forget my own podcast name? On the TTM podcast, we support, being ourselves and, doing all that. So it wouldn't be right for me to tell you to continue doing unhealthy things, because it's just not going to get you anywhere. I think it's really important for you to find a healthy coping mechanism and a healthy way to get things out. If it means you're going on a walk with your own thoughts, listening to music, go ahead and do that. Like there's no shame in that type of thing. But yeah, I think positives though, I definitely feel like it gave me a lot of time to be more self-aware in how I move and how I interact with people, and also the type of people I have around me. It's definitely made me think, like, moving forward, what I actually want my social circle to look like. And if it means it's going from 10 to 5, that just might be what's best for me. And it's just maybe, just self-aware. My self-awareness has gone from like down here to like up here. I'd say the scale has definitely increased, and it is really important to be self-aware, because people usually like to think that the world is the problem and it's not them. I'm here to tell you first, sometimes you are the problem. Sometimes I am the problem. I think juggling religion and, the constant feeling of self-conviction while also trying to fit in at the same time, it's a very, very big thing. And then also trying to fit in, in your own type of way, in your own characteristic, while also trying to get people to like you. It's a very, very hard thing. But it's also important to realize that the people that do like you and the people that do love you, they love you for some reason. So don't take that for granted while you still have it. Another thing I learned from the Spider-Man movie, if you miss someone, go and tell them. Go and tell them, go and tell them, go and tell them, go and tell them. Because there's going to be a point where you try and go back and they're going to say they don't love you anymore. They're going to say they don't love you anymore, and you're just going to be sat here with all these feelings and all these emotions that you just failed to give out and to give back to them. So if you take anything from this episode, take 2 points. If you miss someone or have any sort of feeling towards someone, go and tell them. Go and tell them, don't waste your time. And if you feel like you can't go tell them, write it in a letter and reread that letter multiple times until you feel the need to go tell them. The second point is that you're not going to be able to please everybody. People say it all the time. However, it is also important to remember that the people that you do please, they love you for some sort of reason. They're pleased with you for some sort of reason. So don't take it for granted while they're still there. Because if you do, right in the middle of my inspirational speech. But anyways, if you do, then it's going to be too late when you realise that they're not just going to stick around for no reason. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, this is like the longest episode I've ever had, 24 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you so much for watching the TTM podcast. This is episode 4, and I'm so excited for episode 5. I see you guys later. Bye.